And a funny topic, a very hilarious topic for me to talk about right now is patience. But I'm having to learn as I get older that patience means different things to me than it did when I was 25. Um, and I kind of find myself believing that there's a place to be impatient and there's a place to be patient.
Hey, if you're enjoying the content, please consider subscribing. Give us a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. Let us know what type of content you'd like to see us cover next.
I think when it comes to certain activities on yourself, if it's your education or things like that, it pays to be impatient because if you don't, nothing's ever going to change. If it's to me and being what I want to be weight wise, this is a hard one. That's the one that I know what I need to do. That's something to become very impatient with myself about. And at the same time, we'll think about our children. Those of us that have kids, there's times to be very patient and there's times to be very impatient. Certain things require an immediate response. For me, my household, disrespect, things like that, instant. It's got to have an instant response. Things that end up doing with maturity, though, that's a longer term kind of a deal. It requires growing up. And success, certainly business success and anything I am finding, the older I get, the more patient I'm really just understanding how important of a role patience plays in your business success. We way overestimate what we can do in 6 months or a year or 2 years, way overestimate it. And we ridiculously underestimate what we can do over 10 to 20 years. We are such who would click on the Google ad that says, 7 simple ways to get out of debt in 11 years. No, I don't want to get out of a debt in 11 years. I want to be out of debt in 11 days. That's not reality. It's just not reality. I think the more that we hide from what the reality is, that we hurt ourselves. We make ourselves distraught. We get discouraged when in reality there's no reason to be discouraged. There's only reasons to be discouraged when we know that we're supposed to be doing day-to-day activities that we don't do, that I decide I'm not going to do it. That's when we need to be impatient with ourselves. And I'm learning this. This is super raw with me right now in understanding patience with a number of different things that I'm having to deal with. That some things just take time. There are those of us who've been through divorce. Okay, some things just take time. You can't. It's a terrible thing to go through, and certain things hurt so bad you want it over right now. It's not going to be, and learning to embrace the process, which is a big fancy way of just suffering through it, right? And it's not. That's the reality of what we do when we encounter very difficult things, but it doesn't happen instantly. It's not going to resolve instantly. If you have financial problems, come tomorrow morning, they're probably going to be about like they are right now. The only thing that you can do is focus on your activity. What am I doing today to put myself into a position to where my future will be different than what I'm doing today? And so this is to me, this is to you guys, because again, I'm really going through it right now and having to remind myself that the things that really press on me right now from a business standpoint that are so difficult aren't always going to be. There will come a point in time that those things will die away and I won't even remember it anymore. But also in today, making sure that I'm focused on doing every single thing I can do to make sure that my future is what I want it to be. But understanding it's not going to change. Almost nothing's going to change in the next 6 months. It's going to be the same way it is. And learning to not get discouraged in the grind. Learning to be able to take comfort in the fact that I did what I could do today. Sometimes that's all you can do. My mom was a single mom for a very long time. She set a really good example with that. So things were really tough, but she would do what she could do today, and she'd go to bed, and she'd do it again tomorrow. And now she had the ability to do it with a grace that I have not yet developed because I never heard her complain whether she had to work 3 jobs, whatever she had to do, which maybe that's where I get the whole work ethic thing from. But so anyhow, it's just something that's on my mind right now, and thinking about how do you balance patience and impatience, because there is a time to be impatient with ourselves, hopefully not with one another, but there's also a time to understand that building success, changing your financial status, changing your body, changing the way that you think takes time. There's a book called The Slight Edge, which y'all may have heard me talk about The Slight Edge before, but it's interesting. There's this one lily that if it starts to grow in a still pond, it will start as like one lily pad, and then it will double about every day it starts. And so it starts off super small, and like a weekend you'd barely even notice it. It's just tiny in a massive pond. It's just a small little piece. And then it continues to grow and grow, and then out of nowhere something starts to happen, and it becomes massive. And on like in a month, on the 29th day, it now has covered half the pond. And on the 30th day, it covers the other half, like that. And you look at it and you go, that just happened. That just was amazing. It happened. No, it happened every day. It happened day 6. It happened day 9. It was all happening, but you couldn't see anything. You couldn't see any of the results. The results do come, though. You can't. What does the Bible say? A man reaps what he sows. And every religion, it talks about those different things. And you put in, it's just natural law, cause and effect. Take religion out of it. It's cause and effect, in that when you're doing certain things, there will be a result one way or another. It's just the way the universe is built. And understanding and trusting that as long as you're putting in the right thing on the front end, you're going to be okay on the backside.